Hello, this is Bridget Rao with Divine Essentials. Okay guys, so I wanted to make a video first off because last month when it was time for me to go live for the membership readings, I couldn't go live, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't make a reel, I couldn't make a video, I couldn't make a post, I couldn't comment, I couldn't do anything. As the owner of the channel, I was literally just sit there like, okay. So all I could do really was tell people in other formats of like, hey guys, I've been reprimanded and I cannot tell you guys anything. So I made a post on Instagram and on my Facebook and other areas, but I know a lot of people probably didn't find out about it because some people follow me here and some people follow me there. Basically, it was really weird. It shouldn't have even happened, honestly, technically. Hey, no, Mana, don't do that. Mana, no, Mana, no. Sorry. He has a habit of doing this now every time I sit down to do anything. But anyways, I had made a video for a friend, and in the video, I don't even really know exactly what I spoke about per se, but it's a running theme, it seems, with things lately where it's like, I had put out a video on the Bridget Rao channel, or tried to put out a video on the Bridget Rao channel like a week before this happened, and it was like, no, you can't do this one has whatever in it. And it was a video that I was trying to bring awareness to people about because it was something that through synchronicity and just through like weirdness I even discovered. And it had to do with children and things like that. And it's kind of like, you know, something people probably want to be aware of, but it's hard when you can't talk to people or tell people anything without getting in trouble. So on the Bridget Rao channel, I got a warning, and it was like, they took it down, like they didn't, like it didn't even finish publishing or anything like that. It never saw the light of day. It just was like, nope, this is a warning. Now on this channel, when I made a video for a friend that was unlisted, it wasn't meant for the public, it was literally just to her. It was up and given to her. She's listened to it. I, had it on the channel for like at least a week. It was like fine. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the day that I'm supposed to go live for everybody, it was like, oh, you have a strike. No warning, no nothing. It was just like, here you go, which doesn't make sense because I've never had anything like that on this channel. So it's supposed to get a warning and then a strike. And then after 90 days, it clears that away, and then you can reset yourself and reuse your things like as if you're back to square one. So the only other time I've had any type of warning was like over a year ago. So for the fact of me even getting a strike made no sense. But it just kind of speaks to the fact of what's been going on out there. And I've even said, I know I said it in one of the lives that I did, I was like, I need to be careful because I just know this is what happens. And I've seen other people going through that. So I have made a Rumble account where you don't have that problem, where it's like you can say what you want to say, and it's like you can have an opinion and people aren't going to be coming after you for that, or all of your workload disappears because of it. So again, I have to be careful of what I say, and again, I don't even know what I said in that other video, but you can't talk to anybody on YouTube. You can't get anybody to like respond to you just one-on-one. So I really don't know. I really don't believe I said anything that was like what I would normally like be a red flag, stuff that people had happening. I don't know. But I feel like it's all part of all this other stuff that's been going on for me anyways, where it's like I feel like it's this shift. It's time for me to shift my focus or shift my business or shift my life around a little bit and to start exploring other things. That's not the only place that has been having like this brick wall. I'm in a group on Facebook for people who have Etsy shops, and it seems like something happened last month with a bank system for Etsy, and ever since then it's like there's no sales for anybody across the board. But for the first time in a long time, I've had like no sales whatsoever for multiple days. Like today, I finally have a sale for like one roll-on, and I'm like, okay. Like earlier, I had to put food back so that I could purchase food because of how tight things are. And it's been like that across the board. I've seen for other people in this work, it's like things are just getting silenced. Things are getting like not seen. Like this normal stuff that you do isn't working anymore. People aren't responding to stuff. People aren't, like, if you don't engage with things, then that doesn't show to other people. So I don't know. And then I saw something from somebody I've followed since the beginning of my awakening, and some of the stuff he had been sharing tied into all of this, like silencing stuff. And the person that I went and looked at through his link literally had 2 YouTubes and 2 Instagrams and 2 of all these other places, and he also connects with star beings and his synchronicities and things that he was picking up, stuff that I had been thinking about. And again, it's hard because I can't talk about a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing. So I'm going to make a rumble like place where I'm going to be able to share the fullness and the vastness of all the stuff that's like can't say here. And I'm also in the pivoting motion of trying to help other people who are being pushed into this work. And the last part of Alcyon Light Healing is about finding your purpose and finding your niche and aligning with your mission, educating and growing, bartering and trading. So again, it seems like this stuff is going to fit in kind of with all of what's going on in my life, okay? And then there's going to be activations to trust your inner knowing and to share with others your inner knowing. The comfort that we can increase as we go to spirit and we can trust our guides. Even if it's bad, you know, sometimes people don't want to ever go to the bad stuff, but sometimes it has to be. Expanding your vocabulary or your dictionary is something we're going to talk about. If you people maybe remember me mentioning, like, we have a spirit dictionary, we have a dictionary of like our spiritual guidance, like, and it gets bigger over time because you become bigger over time with your awareness. And then adding entries into your spiritual dictionary, meditation, getting out of the way, taking action on ideas, and then taking notes, or forgetting. Okay, so like a lot of times I have these ideas and I have these aha moments, like I'm having all of these things come back from last night when I did a meditation for inspiration. And I had all these great ideas, but I didn't write them down, so they go away. But then they come back, and that happens too. So sometimes you don't have to worry about writing every single thing down. A lot of times they will come back to you. And then weird hours is part of this job sometimes, and altered consciousness can be tied into those weird hours. So there's been a lot of, you know, things with like the shamans and people out there who have practiced spirituality, where they they fast for like a week, or they don't sleep, or they alter their consciousness in a weird way of like they haven't eaten in 3 days, but it's like it's part of the connection to alter the consciousness. So we're going to be talking about things like that. Allowing for expansion, allowing for opportunities, diving in and changing our lives. So again, you see how this ties into all of this stuff out here. I feel like a lot of people are being pushed right now. When we allow for these things to come and we take those leaps of faith, it can be scary, and sometimes we can bounce back and forth and get nervous about it, but we're going to talk about more of those things. There's going to be activations and meditations. There's going to be the crown chakra information. So this is the level where we're opening up our crown chakra. And then there's going to be the advanced activation for time mastery to see beyond death. And that's an Andromedan energy. Okay, so there's going to be an Andromedan activation and an Andromedan meditation. So there's the paid one and the free one. And then there's going to be all of the end of it is going to be like that. So then there's the spiritual sun illumination activation, activating yourself and others, the cosmic ocean portals meditation with the Syrian dolphins and whales. There's going to be the Arcturian advanced cellular healing, clearing, and activations to become the activator. There's going to be the DNA upgrade with the Arcturian councils of light meditation, the Pleiadian heart healing activation to activate the self for others, and then the journey to Alcyon meditation to recognize the frequency of the Pleiadians meditation. There's the Lyran Ancient Light Code activation to awaken and manifest the light, to attract prosperity and wisdom, and the Lyra meditation. So the top one was an activation, the bottom one was the journey to attract prosperity and wisdom is just a meditation. Then there's the Avian 12D perspective shift of activating self for others, and then the Avian advanced meditation. Then there's a Galactic Council's activation to meet your masters, and then the Galactic Light Code meditation. And then there's how to channel activation, and then how to run a class or a modality where I'm just going to talk to you about that. And then there's the thank you and the congratulations, which will end this all. And that's part 33 on 7, level 7. And I found it funny that there were 77 videos in the first, section. We're going into level 7 with 77 videos made. And that's not planned. I had no idea. Like, I'm not that good at that stuff. But this is basically the overview of the level 7 that's coming. And again, following our inner guidance to deliver to others is the part 2. But I feel like it's kind of like this part as well, because it's been difficult. And something that's been coming up to me like more than once. So when that happens, when something happens to me more than once, that's like, hey, that's your inner guidance. That's spirit talking to you. It's the story of a man who was like in a flood, okay? And he's like at his house and he's like, I prayed twice this week. Whenever this happens to me, it's usually a sign from spirit. And it was a story of the guy being like in a flood. And he was like, I pray to God, God's gonna save me, right? And so here comes the boat, and they're like, hey, we're going to save you. And he's like, no, I trust that God's going to save me. And they're like, all right. So then, like, the flood waters rise, and he's on the second story, and he's like, I pray to God, they're come to save me. And here comes a bigger boat, and he's like, no, God's going to save me. And they're like, okay. So now he's up on the roof, and he's still, like, trusting in God. And they send a helicopter with a rope, and they're like, grab the rope. And he's like, no, God's going to save me. So then he gets up in heaven and he's like, why didn't you save me? And he's like, I sent you all of those things and you kept denying them because you were misguided. You just didn't understand. You weren't paying attention. And I've had that message come to me twice. And I feel like it's in connection to multiple things because I've had the Rumble thing come to me a few times. I did sign up for it. I did feel like that's going to be a much better place for me because, like I said, the guy that I've been following all along for all those years, it's not like I was like always paying attention to him like 100, but he's been a Facebook friend. I've published articles on his stuff. It's Greg from n5d.com. He literally put something on Rumble and he was like, I have like 200 subscribers there and my live reached over 1,000 people. I have over 150,000 subscribers on my YouTube and it only reached like 100 people. So it's like the complete opposite of what you would expect. And that just shows, like, a lot of us are being silenced. A lot of us are being, pushed to make these changes or to put ourselves in different places. And I have been setting up those pathways, which is funny because now it makes even more sense. I sent my dad a message last night. When I make this video, when I finish all of it, I will try to put the screenshot of my conversation with my dad yesterday, talking specifically about this. Because I was like, every time I see this, and I just split open to it again. Create the pathways, and there's a whole chat that I did on my podcast about that, about creating the pathways, and it says, can do that. But if you notice, Cygnus is up there. Okay, Cygnus the Swan. Cygnus the Swan has been coming up and coming up and coming up for me over and over and over. You are the Oracle. It just came out again. It's got the 7 sisters, and that's actually tied to this card with the 7 sisters and the Pleiades. You see the ship up there. There's been so many crazy synchronicities, so many messages about protecting your body, about the mermaids and like the Triton and Saint Bridget, being connected to that, Lemuria, Argatha, the messages that are within the earth. And this says extreme times require deep reflection. So a lot of it's like we've also got to just go and reflect, and we need to take time to release and figure out where are we going to find our peace, where are we going to find our guidance, where are we going to find that gnosis, where are we going to find the guidance, by entering the silence and listening. So a lot of times we freak out when money's getting tight and we can't afford things and we can't eat and we can't, it's like, oh God. But if we just surrender, which was part of the message that I found the other night with the thing I did, it was Colette Baron Reed. She has like a free course out right now that was to meet the energy or meet the spirit of your business. And my spirit business was like a shape-shifting entity or energy. It was like some mermaid and some Pegasus and some Cygnus and some of all of it. And it says a sacred gift is coming to you. Your goal is within reach, but we need to be calm and anchor our energy. If we go into panic mode and freak out mode and oh my God, then that just makes it worse. And we also have to remember there is no death. And I tell people this all the time. I'm like, there's no reason to freak out. There's no reason. Like, what is the worst that happens? We die, we starve, whatever. Like, whatever happens will happen, and it will be because it was meant to happen. And we won't die. We will go on. We will transform. So if we rise to the occasion and we reflect and we're calm and we just allow whatever's happened, and it says you hold in your heart a space to be filled. I'm not going to show this because I don't want to get it in trouble, but basically we have everything in us, and we are here to awaken the divine masculine energy, not the patriarchy that has been awake. We're trying to awaken the softness, the balance, and to think outside of the flock, and to think outside of the craziness, so that we can create the pathways that are going to help us to move with the flow and the abundance, and come into those divine unions with ourselves and with others. And we need to acclimate and accept where we are on our path and not try to run from it or freak out about it. And then it says shapeshift, transform, and experience a new reality. So like I said, my business was about shapeshifting. I've always been in a shapeshifting type of energy. I've never done the same thing over and over. I just go with the flow. So believe in spontaneous healing, break the negative cycle, prepare for a major event, and shapeshift into the best versions of ourselves, to awaken the divine masculine energy. And a comforting presence is on the way. We are not alone in the universe. Everything that we need is available to us. And when we speak our truth, we can express ourselves, and we can be our real, authentic selves. We don't have to hide anything. We don't have to pretend. We don't have to do anything that doesn't feel right. And again, with that comforting presence, it's that Pegasus, that unicorn energy. So if anybody has been feeling alone, or feeling like you're at the bottom of your barrel, you're feeling blocked, or you're feeling cursed, or you're feeling any of that stuff, just know you're not alone. There is a major event coming, I feel. And I'm not the only one feeling that. It's almost like I'm like, I feel like, something big is going to happen. I don't know what it is exactly yet, but obstacles are being cleared. And again, sometimes we prepare for the worst, but it's like we're just so used to being a victim. It's like, don't be a victim. Just stand in your power, stand in your confidence, in your illumination of knowing that whatever you focus on, whatever you believe, whatever you think is going to be is what's going to be. And don't focus on bitter revenge or like that doesn't get you anywhere. This is Ishtar and Gilgamesh, and this ties into the Anunnaki and the Sumerian gods and things like that. I actually have a screen recording from the other night where I found something about them, and it was tied to this other thing that I had seen. So I was going to publish it. It's kind of just talks about Enki and Enlil, and you can even see within it like some of the crazy stuff that people talk about, and it's like it doesn't make any sense, but people just go along with it. And a lot of people have ruined our history or changed our history out of that energy of feeling jealous or feeling like, they don't want the God that was here before them to be better than them. So they like literally change the statues, and they change the history to rewrite it to their own favor, which has happened many times. You see with the Christians and the Romans. Like that's why Saint Bridget was like overshadowed by Saint Patrick, because it was all a bunch of illusions. They said they were getting rid of the serpents. There was no serpents in Ireland. Ireland is an island that had never had any type of serpents on it. So that was just a way of saying like the Gnostics or the people that were there that they didn't like, that they had a different belief system, so we need to take a stand and take our power back, and just know that we are protected, but call in protection, call in Archangel Michael, call in. And I've been seeing so much craziness, like people saying like Archangel Michael is evil and like all these bad things, and I feel like it's just out of hand, that the duality is crazy right now. There's people out there just saying like the craziest stuff. Some stuff makes sense, some stuff does not. And it's like, so just try to find your own inner truth for yourself. And it says, be firm in your resolve, commit to your truth of what's divine and what's right. At your core what's good and what's not. Like you can feel the difference between this is nice and this is evil. So as long as you're not trying to come from an evil place, you are much better than most people would probably be. And then dance your trouble away. I keep getting messages about Dionysus. He's another one that I've been seeing tied into these synchronicities, connected to the Cygnus and connected to the Pegasus, which are constellations up there, connected to Saint Bridget, connected to things to do with like these sexless gods that were in the back in the day, back with Enki and Enlil, and just all this stuff ties together with like March, and it's like I can just see now how much everything just repeats, and everything above is repeated down below. It's like as above, so below. Mercury, Venus, all these planets are represented in beings or entities on the planet at different times throughout our history. Even like Enki and Enlil, who are the Sumerian gods, who are like the 12th planet, the Nibiru, Zechariah Stitchin did a lot of stuff with the 12th planet information. I could see similarities between Odin and what's his name, his son Loki, right? So Loki and Thor. Loki was like the trickster god, Mercury is like the trickster god, and then Enki and Enlil, they had like their trickster god. Then they have and like you'll see like in Hollywood, in the music and in all of that, there's a lot of these things that are used for a reason, which then sometimes makes you feel like, are they kind of being evil? So you've got to use discernment. You've got to use what you feel inside of yourself is the right thing. What's the right thing? And look, disconnect, go underground for a while. They're dancing. I just saw that other one, says dance your troubles away, and it had the specific clouds on it. I've noticed there's been a lot of stuff going on with clouds, so pay attention to the clouds that are outside. Pay attention to having a good time. Don't party to a point where it's like you're useless, or you're not getting your work done, or you're not doing anything right in your life. But don't let yourself get taken away into the darkness, or into the void, or into the everything's gonna be so serious all the time. Just have a good time. Know that nothing is absolute. Everything is changing, and that I do plan on being back on the channel now. I just have to be really careful about what I say and when I say it. And then I do plan to put content onto my Rumble channel, which is going to be a place where it's like I can just let it all all out. So if you want to join me on there, I will try to find my link for it. Like I set it all up. It's a different situation there, but once you get into it, I think people, it's gonna be like anything. Like once you got onto YouTube, you got used to it. Once you got onto here, you got used to it. It's just that initial hump that we got to get over, and that seems to be in everything. But this is literally all we have left for this Elstone Light Healing, and I want to finish it here because I started it here, and I do plan to make the paid parts available through my website, because I feel like the reason why Etsy's not working anymore for many people and myself is because they want me to like keep it under, like the fact that they can just take my channel away, the fact that they can just close my Etsy store. That's a very vulnerable place to be as a business owner, right? So they're like they're pushing me to put all of that stuff under my own domain, under my own thing that nobody else can come get. Even if I just went on Wix and made a free website there and created everything under that umbrella, it's much safer than putting it out on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Yes, you want to use all of those places to promote yourself, but you don't want to only use those places to promote yourself, because they could be gone in a second. And I don't know what happened with Etsy, but something definitely happened, because I've seen like lots of people complaining about it. It's not just myself. I actually have screenshots of it that I sent to my dad as well, because I was like, this is crazy. It's like something happened with their bank, and then they changed it, so now you've got to wait 40 days to get paid when you do make a sale. So it's like all this extra time of waiting to get your paycheck for things that you've already shipped off and sent out, and now you're in charge of like covering all these fees and all this other extra stuff, which they charge a lot of fees. So if you're somebody that's interested in starting a business and being out here doing this stuff, you know, keep all that stuff in mind. Etsy was great for me in the beginning, but I feel like it's pivoting now, and there's reasons for all of it. So I'm going to be doing more of that business stuff. I literally had no choice but to just be quiet and sit back and wait for my punishment to lift. And also been feeling like, with my own stuff. So gonna plan to finish level 7 here, be on Rumble where I can just freely express myself and connect with the right people, and keep most majority of my things under my own umbrella at my own website, where I have my own groups and my own things, and I can utilize all of that. And I know Wix like the back of my hand, so I can teach people Wix. Because at first I was thinking of teaching people like Etsy, but it's like I don't feel right about that now, seeing how they are, seeing what they're doing, seeing how much they gouge out of your money. They force you to advertise, they force you to do things, and then they just like turn off your sales like out of nowhere. And then they change the settings and things like, oh yeah, 40 days you have to wait to get paid. So it's like I charge $11 for something, I get like $7 by the end of it, and then I gotta pay to ship it. So it's like a $5 thing. And it sucks, because if I just sold that on my website, I could sell that for like $7, and then the people would only have to pay for the shipping to make the difference, and it would be like you still get like $3 less than what I'm doing for them. But they have their own system, which gives them that upper hand. So it depends on where you are at too. Some of us, we need that in the beginning because we need that marketplace. Like Udemy is a good example of that, where Udemy has all these people looking for courses, right? So it's like a good place to house a course. But if you go to like house a course on your own, and you have a good following, and you promote it, and you have like a email list, and you're putting things out there, consistently, you don't necessarily need to use a place like Udemy. But it's all a matter of using what's available to you, being strategic about it, and then also not staying too long with anything, and always allowing yourself to do the shape shifting. Okay, so hopefully this will make sense to somebody out there, and hopefully nobody was like upset about last month. I literally couldn't tell you guys, and I'm sorry, but I do have the next 2 lives scheduled for this channel, and I do plan on rolling out the rest of this here. And I'll probably back it up somewhere else, or maybe start something somewhere else. I don't know where exactly yet, but maybe I'll do like a Udemy course, like a condensed version, or take what I've already got and, push it into something smaller for one fee, rather than like going through it, all the ways that it was on here. But we'll see when we get there. So thank you guys very much. In Munay Namaste.